Hello everyone, Marcus here. Welcome to Tesla Simplified. Today I just wanted to make a quick video to talk about charging. The there's a couple of things that I feel like the YouTubers don't talk about when they go on their road trips. You see them go on their road trips and they just plug in and they leave. Everything is fine. The only thing that happens once in a while is the charger doesn't work. There's a lot more to it than that. So here are the things that happen, and that happened to me, and I feel like it may be valuable for someone who's starting and possibly never made a long distance road trip with their EV. And there's a lot of people who even own EVs, BEVs, and don't feel confident in traveling around the country with a vehicle that has to be plugged in everywhere you go. So let's talk about it. The the first thing is the feeling of driving on a Tesla on autopilot. Autopilot is the basic driving assist system for Tesla, and it just keeps you in between the lines, keeps you in your lane, and it adjusts the distance between you and the car in front of you. So if the car in front of you stops, your car will stop. If the car in front of you accelerates or gets out of the way, you will accelerate to whatever speed you set the autopilot to. But this it sounds simple, but it isn't. It's not simple to do well, and the feeling that you get from driving this way is it's really nice. You don't worry so much. The You don't worry so much about keeping the car in the lane, which I realized it takes a lot of mental energy to constantly do that um, minor control to keep the car in the lane all the time, and adjusting the speed also is a pain in the butt, in my view. Um, Before I bought a Tesla, I only drove down, maybe 5 hours at the most. 5 hours away is the most I ever drove away from New York where I live. And the very first trip that I took with the Tesla, I drove to Orlando. So that's 1,000 miles. That's 18 hours of driving. That was the very first trip, and I drove all day, and I wasn't tired. Meanwhile, I used to drive 5 hours, and I didn't want to do it again on the way back. So after that first after that first trip, I took a couple of trips to Toronto, Ohio, and now whenever I can, I'm doing a long road trip. And I never thought I would do that, but the reason is because of the autopilot, because it's so much nicer to drive a car that keeps itself in the lane and just goes to whatever speed you set it for. So as far as supercharging, the it's super easy to do. Some people, before I did it, I thought that there's got to be something more to it. You can't just go up to this thing, back in, and then just plug it in. It can't be just that. But it is just that. You pull in, as long as you have your credit card on file, you pull in, and that's it. You you plug it in, and the car just starts charging. And then you can see how fast it's charging on the screen. Um, and it's just amazing. And it just gets taken out of your credit card, gets put on your credit card to charge, and the the app tells you how long it's going to take. For me, most of the stops took between 15 and 20 minutes. There was only a few stops that took me 30 minutes. But if you're stopping to get coffee, if you think about it, if you just park your car, plug in, by the time you walk to the restroom, get coffee, maybe get a sandwich or something, even if you don't eat the sandwich, by the time you get in those lines and you come back out, it's already 15 minutes. So if you do stop and you want to eat something you don't want to eat on the road, um, then it's even more. Um, so it doesn't really take longer. I guess it could possibly take longer depending on what kind of person you are and how you drive. But I think most people just they will want to stop and use the restroom, grab some coffee and grab something to eat